Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Hold on a second, right quick. Somebody said to call me right back, but I won't be able to answer it. So, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, nonprofit, educational, or personal use. Tips and balance in favor of fair use. Disclaimer: all defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Matthew 18 verse 6, but whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. Isaiah 1:17 says, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, and plead the case of the widow. Go to trigger warning right here. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of music while I send somebody a message. So give me a few seconds. Sorry about that. I saw this story recently, and it's really disheartening. Daniel CALLIHAN and Victoria COX arrested for the murders of ERIN BRUNETT and CALLIE BRUNETT. There's more to the story as well, as you all might have figured out by now. To make sure to click off that Bible verse. So you see in the picture, there is Daniel CALLIHAN. There's a little 4-year-old that they had killed, ERIN BRUNETT. This is Victoria COX, the other suspect, the girlfriend of Daniel CALLIHAN. This is a GoFundMe page right here, picture there of CALLIE BRUNETT. Without further ado, let's get this story going. I'll put it in comments right quick. Okay. I warned you, this is a hard story to hear. Close that out. That's what I was working on. Alleged accomplice faces death penalty in kidnapping and abuse of 4-year-old girl and 6-year-old sister. This was July the 6th, 2024. We give thanks to lawandcrime.com. Left to right, Daniel Callahan is arrested in Mississippi on June the 13th, 2024. I don't know how to pronounce that. Tangipahoa Parish, Louisiana. Sheriff's Office, Louisiana. 4-year-old ERIN Brunette. Amber Alert photo. Victoria COX, Hinds County Jail, mugshot. Poor little 4-year-old. The accused accomplice in the kidnapping and death of Louisiana 4-year-old ERIN Brunette has been indicted in Mississippi on a capital murder charge and for allegedly conspired to kidnap and sexually abuse the victim's sister, a 6-year-old rescued from a pit on the property behind a dilapidated house in mid-June. So I get tongue-tied when I get upset, okay? Victoria Cox, 32, faces a potential death sentence if convicted in ERIN's death and in the kidnapping and sexual assault of ERIN's sister, identified as JB in a criminal complaint. Y'all, please don't try to find out the girl's real name. Please keep her safety and show respect. According to prosecutors, Cox, along with her purported boyfriend, Daniel Callahan, 36, killed ERIN while engaging in the commission of the crime of the kidnapping. That same complaint alleges that Cox and Callahan kidnapped JB that same day and later sexually assaulted her. As Law and Crime previously reported, law enforcement made the grim discovery of ERIN's corpse in a wooded part of Jackson, Mississippi. On June 13th, the crime scene was allegedly linked to possible human trafficking. The girl's mother, 35-year-old CALLIE BRUNETT, was found murdered at her home in Langardere, Louisiana, earlier that day, police said. Here is that dilapidated house, and here he is, Callahan. The Mississippi property where ERIN Brunette was found dead and her sister were rescued. Daniel Callahan, right and set, mugshot, Rankin County Sheriff's Office. So she wasn't found at this house, but it was on the property, okay? In a pit. In remarks reported by local Fox affiliate WVUE, Jackson Police Chief Joseph Wade said investigators not only found the 4-year-old girl murdered by a coward, but also uncovered evidence that suggested ERIN and her older sister were located at a crime scene, which may be the place where there has been some human trafficking done. Y'all got to find out what the connection between him and the mother is, okay? We see cages, small animal cages, Wade reportedly said. This is very, very disturbing to me as a police chief and as a father to witness and see what I saw. Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff Daniel Edwards reportedly said separately that Callahan was not a complete stranger to the Brunetts, since he used to date Callie Brunett. He used to date the mother. Boy. She did good when she got rid of that sorry piece of crap, right? There's Callie Brunett and ERIN Brunette left in a GoFundMe photo. Callie on the right as seen on her Facebook page. Beautiful young people right there. What will lead him to kill Callie and abduct the children, I simply can't say, the sheriff reportedly said. I bet she was protecting her daughters. Investigators soon concluded that Callahan may not have acted alone. and alleged that Cox, allegedly his girlfriend, also played a role in the killing. A federal complaint against Callihan provides grim details of what investigators believe happened to the children. After allegedly killing the girl's mother in her home in Longitude, Louisiana on June 12th and kidnapping the children, Callihan was reportedly seen on surveillance video with the two girls at a McDonald's before arriving at a home located on Boozier Drive in Jackson, Mississippi, some 130 miles north of Longitude. Callihan, who was apprehended on June 13th, apparently confessed to many of the crimes in a detailed interview with the police. I wonder if Cox was in that video along with him in that car. That would be good for us to know. During his custodial interview, Callihan confessed to the murders of Callie Brunett and her minor daughter, minor victim 1, that is ERIN, a 4-year-old whose identity is known to me, the theft of Brunett's vehicle, and disposal of her cellular telephone, and his intent to keep the living minor child as a sex slave. The probable cause affidavit says, a particularly chilling detail considering the apparent living situation of the house close to where the girls were found. The investigation has revealed that the Boozier Drive residence is partially unfinished and there appears to be no permanent residence, the affidavit says. Rather, a variety of individuals appeared to use the house and stay there for periods from time to time. The two girls were ultimately found in a pit on the property located approximately 50 yards behind the house. ERIN was dead, 4-year-old ERIN. But the 6-year-old was recovered alive, the affidavit says. The girl's presence had not gone unnoticed by those in the house and surrounding area, as U.S. Marshals preparing to search the home soon discovered. While members of the U.S. MTF were staging on Boozier Drive, which is near the location on Terry Road, where Callihan was ultimately found, to search for Callihan, 2 civilians approached them and said they had recently heard 2 children screaming from the woods approximately 50 yards behind a residence located down the road on Boozier Drive, the affidavit says. After Callihan's arrest, the affidavit says an adult male approached law enforcement and stated that he had been present in the Boozier Drive residence in the prior days. That individual told law enforcement authorities that he observed Callihan, minor victim 1 and minor victim 2 on the property and inside the Boozier Drive residence during the time period of June 12, 2024 and June 13, 2024. During his interview with police, Callihan apparently acknowledged that the girls were clearly in distress. When they arrived at the Boozier Drive residence, minor victims were crying and did not want to stay with Callihan, the affidavit says. Eventually, Callihan decided to kill minor victim 1, which is ERIN. The surviving sister was taken to the hospital for evaluation, the affidavit says. Okay. Hey there, sis. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. So go here. So it says, after raping a girl 6 and keeping her in a pit with her 4-year-old sister's dead body, they both may get a plea deal, y'all. I'm not kidding you. Look right here, October 13th, 2025. The guy was already given a plea deal, okay? Daniel Callahan accepted a plea deal from federal prosecutors after confessing to kidnapping, murder, and sexual battery. His alleged accomplice has now also been offered a plea deal. Do y'all agree with him getting a plea deal or not? I do not agree that they should have had a plea deal. Daniel Callahan, 37, confessed to murdering Callie Brunettt. Well, see, they already had the evidence that he got the daughters, that he had them in a pit. So why are they giving them a plea deal, right? I want to know why that was even on the table for a plea deal. Riddle me that. Please explain to me in a good way where it sounds plausible that y'all getting a plea deal when y'all know he had got two kids. When you know that one of the kids is dead, you know he's been sexually abusing that daughter, and you also know that the mother was found back there dead. Okay, you also seen that the car was on the property, also the mother's car. So Daniel Callahan, 37, confessed to murdering Callie Brunettt, 35, before kidnapping her two daughters, sexually assaulting the 6-year-old child, and then killing her 4-year-old sister. He confessed as part of a plea deal with federal prosecutors, also admitting that he kept the 6-year-old girl in a dirt pit with the body of her dead sister. Now his alleged accomplice, Victoria Cox, 34, has also been offered a plea deal by local prosecutors in Mississippi. The woman accused of assisting a man who abducted two young sisters after murdering their mother, killing the 4-year-old, and keeping the 6-year-old as his sex slave, according to U.S. Marshals, has been offered a plea deal. I'm saying they were not going to get the full extent of the law applied to them when they get plea deals, okay? Victoria Cox, 34, appeared in a Mississippi courtroom on Monday, October 13th, where prosecutors presented her defense team with a plea deal offer. The details of that deal were not shared in court, and the defense said they would have to consult with Cox before deciding if they would agree to the deal being offered by the Hinds County District Attorney's Office. Here's the mother that they had murdered, Callie. Here's the daughter, ERIN. Cox is charged with capital murder, kidnapping, and sexual battery for her alleged role in the abduction of two girls and murder of one. The man who masterminded that plan, 37-year-old Daniel Callahan, confessed to his crimes in federal court earlier this year while accepting his own plea deal. In a factual basis, he signed after agreeing to enter guilty pleas to federal charges of kidnapping, resulting in death and transportation of a minor. And that's across state lines, okay? Transported over state lines with intent to engage in sexual activity. Callahan admitted to killing the mother of the two young girls, which is the mother was his ex-girlfriend, as it said previously, 35-year-old Callie Brunettt in Louisiana on the night of June 11th, 2024. He then admitted to driving the girls from their home in Loringen, an unincorporated community located approximately 70 miles north of New Orleans, to Mississippi. The next day, on June 12th, he drove back to Louisiana to pick up Cox and then returned to Macomb, Mississippi with her and the two victims. Oh my gosh, so why did she stay in Macomb? Why did he stay? Why did she stay back there? Why did he have to go back and get her? That's a good question there. So she knew about the two victims as well. Callahan said in the signed factual basis that he and Cox engaged in criminal sexual activity with the 6-year-old victim, after which he murdered her 4-year-old sister by holding her closely against his chest. That she even engaged in sexual activity with the minor victim, the 6-year-old daughter. Not only he, but his girlfriend, Cox, did too. Jordan Ginsburg, the assistant U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Louisiana, said that on June the 13th, a relative discovered the body of Callie and reported her two daughters missing. You sorry piece of crap right there, Daniel Callahan. The surviving sister was tracked down that same day thanks to a joint effort between a local, state, and federal law enforcement. Callahan had stolen Callie's car, which was discovered close to the property where the girl was being held captive. Okay, so he took the car away, left that girl behind, and then went back in a different car to pick her up, the Cox lady up. I'm wondering if he went and picked her back up at Callie's car or his own car, right? The 6-year-old was discovered in a dirt pit where she was being kept with the body of her deceased younger sister. That's very traumatizing. Y'all be praying for her. It's going to be hard for her to get over. Cox managed to avoid federal charges since, unlike Callahan, all her crimes were committed in the state of Mississippi, and she agreed to testify at Callahan's federal trial for prosecutors who identified her as a co-conspirator one in charge of documents. Well, you helped him take them across enemy lines, from Louisiana to Mississippi. Can she not be charged with that? Because that crime was done in Mississippi. When you're going across state lines, that was done in Louisiana. In a post-Miranda interview with investigators, Cox corroborated Callahan's account of the sexual assault of the 6-year-old victim according to the signed factual basis. Her trial is scheduled to begin on December the 8th in Mississippi, should she not accept the plea deal. Sentencing for Callahan's federal offenses is set for November the 19th. Federal prosecutors agreed to not seek the death penalty if he entered a guilty plea to all charges. Yeah, I can understand that. We're guilty, so he's not going to get the death penalty. What a shame, huh? A lawyer for Cox did not respond to people's request for comment. Every law enforcement partner who worked on this case was determined to deliver justice for the redacted family and the people of Tangipahoa Parish. FBI Special Agent in Charge Jonathan Tapp of New Orleans said in a statement, "The FBI thanks the U.S. Marshal Service, Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, and the Jackson Police Department for their efforts to make sure Daniel Callahan would never do anything like this again." Well, it shouldn't even been done the first time, okay? But I don't know why you got to give him a plea deal, but at the same time, if he gets a plea deal of guilty, then you're saving the money of a trial. But the thing about it is, you got all the evidence, okay? You got all the evidence proving his guilt. Why not go ahead and wait for the court date? Why not go ahead? Why give him a deal? Because I think he deserved the death penalty. I think they both deserve the death penalty. That really upsets me a lot knowing this. I want to thank you so much for coming in and for being a subscriber and for coming in and joining us. Our bucket list. I really appreciate you coming in. And everybody that comes to listen, make sure you like, subscribe, and share and pass this on. I think the kids are not getting true justice and the mother's not getting true justice when they work deals like this. It really infuriates me when they make deals, when they have all the evidence to substantiate their case. I think it's senseless to go ahead and do the plea deals. Thank you so much, and may God bless y'all.